stretch and yearning. Please be sure the flame of love keeps burning in his arms. La la. Save the wedding bells for my returning. Keep my lover's arms outstretched and yearning. Please be sure the flame of love keeps burning in his heart. Arrivederci Roma. It's time for us to part. Mentre l'ingressina lontana, un ragazzino s'avvicina, va nella fontana, fece un sogno, sino a please be sure the flame of love keeps burning in his heart.
Benvenuti a tutti, and welcome to another edition of Italian America Long Island. My name is Dave Anthony Setteducati. Today we have a very special guest, and I'm so excited to have with us a young woman who's one of my favorite singers, so talented. She does a lot of studio work. She's a fantastic live performer. She's sung some of my own original songs. She recorded them for me. I'm very happy to have with me Shannon Rae. Shannon, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited about it.
Oh, great. I'm so glad you are, because you really are one of my favorite singers and one of my favorite people.
Thanks, Dave.
So people might not know from your name, Shannon Rae, that you have an Italian background. Of course, you do have a very nice Italian look. So tell us about your Italian background.
Well, my birth name is Amoroso, and my parents, my father obviously was Patrick Amoroso, technically Pasquale Amoroso. He married a non-Italian woman, my mother, and but I was raised Italian. Forget about the other culture, my mother, that didn't matter.
Now, how about your upbringing? When you say you were raised Italian, what kind of things did you do?
Well, the culture, as we all know, is very strong. So, dinner on Sundays with my grandparents at 2 o'clock, pasta, sauce, meatballs, whatever, you know, every Sunday. We even lived with my grandparents for a couple of years when I was a little kid, and the food and the cooking was always prominent, and family. Getting together around the table, sitting at the table for 7 hours with 18 courses going all day long.
Yeah.
Lots of lessons from my grandparents, and they were just so very involved in our lives and had very strong opinions about things. And I think I was telling you this over the phone. When my parents got married, the first thing my grandmother did was teach my mother how to make sauce. Because my mother was from Kentucky.
All right, so
you know, and she was English, and she had no clue about being Italian. And my grandmother just thought, "You will be cooking my son sauce, right? Let's learn how to do that."
Yeah, right.
So that had to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I bet you she became proficient at it too.
My mother is a very good cook. My grandmother taught her well. She always says that. My mother-in-law taught me well.
Yes, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, have you looked into your heritage at all? Have you gone back?
So I found my second cousin, Michael Amoroso, and it was my father's first cousin, and I found him, and he's in his 70s, and it's such a miracle because he responded to me immediately, and he's about a half hour from me with all of his kids, and so I'm going to meet my cousin soon, and I can't wait to connect with my relatives.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So now, who was the relative that came from Italy in your family?
My great-grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my great-grandparents came from Italy. I have it right here. Pasquale Antonio Amoroso.
Yes.
And he was a tailor. I've never heard of this, but this is the town, Jeisi,
Yeah, that's,
Italy.
well, in Italian, there's no J, but in Neapolitan, there's a J.
I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, that would be Jeisi. It would be, it's
Oh.
like a Y. So that would indicate it's more a Neapolitan name rather than or a Neapolitan area. So they left from Abruzzi?
Yes.
Okay.
This was the name of the ship.
The Duca degli. Okay.
Going to Ellis Island in November of 1910.
Wow.
Yeah. And his wife was Amarina Capicciulli. And I know that, what are the odds of that? Her first name was Amarina, and she married Amoroso.
Amarina.
So they used to call her Emma, you know,
Emma.
because it was just two,
Gemma.
Amarina Amoroso.
Okay. That's beautiful name.
I know, right? It's beautiful. She was a seamstress and he was a tailor, and they
Uh-huh.
lived in Little Italy, New York.
Okay.
And so, and that's how that came about. And then on my grandmother's side, the name was Ferriola, and they're from Sicily.
Shannon, was music a part of your upbringing?
It was a part of my upbringing. My grandfather, Louis Amoroso, was a piano player, very good. And really, he was the only one, though. And I used to enjoy him playing. He would always play for the family on holidays. And whenever we'd go there, all of a sudden you would hear his piano, his upright piano. And he was excellent. He wanted to do music for, you know, his whole, when he was a child, he wanted music to be his career.
Yes.
But his father was, you know, not supportive of that.
Right.
But, you know, of course, that was that generation. And,
Yeah.
you know, he just didn't think that that was the right thing for him to do, but that was his wish.
Okay. So he did play for the family. You know,
Yeah.
back in those days, being a musician was such a great gift for your family because they didn't have TV.
Right.
And especially in Italy, if you had a musician in the family, you had such a great source of fun and entertainment.
He was the only musician. My grandmother used to, you know, sing with him and everything, not professionally, but
Right.
she was a musical person. And my father had a beautiful singing voice. He didn't do anything with it at all. He just, you know, I just heard him singing all my life. And he never thought he had a good voice, but he really did. I used to tell him all the time, Dad, we gotta do something together. He wouldn't.
Oh,
He's like,
wonderful.
no, I'm not good, I'm terrible. But he really had a beautiful sound.
So now how did you get into singing?
I just was passionate about it from birth.
Okay.
It's just something I was within.
Did you have lessons or were you part of a chorus or?
In school, I really didn't do much, but in school I was always in chorus,
Okay.
always.
Mhm.
But I was so painfully shy, I was even too shy to tell my parents about how passionate I was about it. For some reason, I was embarrassed or something that they wouldn't, I don't know, I just
Okay.
didn't have the confidence. And, but it really was my passion from the beginning.
Do you remember your first professional gig, the first time you made money singing?
I remember it, I remember
Why don't
it.
you tell us about that?
It was a studio session, was my first time doing something professional, and it was a studio in Oldfield, Long Island. I told him that I sing. He just right away invited me to the studio, and I just sang some things for him. And then he had me do some jingles, because he was a jingle writer and a producer. So he liked my voice right away, and I started in the studio, really. And then my first live gig in a band, I got into a band, and I remember my knees literally knocking together. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a short skirt, and
Yeah.
my knees were knocking, and I was so self-conscious of it, but I was shaking.
And what kind of gigs are you getting now? What kind of things are you doing now?
Well, right now, for a long time now, I've been specializing in putting on shows for seniors at assisted living facilities and nursing homes and retirement communities, because the material that I'm singing is 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, primarily for them.
Okay.
And that generation, I love singing for a more mature crowd because they had the best music that they were raised with, and they have a strong appreciation for quality and talent and melody and harmony and lyric and presentation. So, and that's what I enjoy singing.
Great.
So,
can you do maybe You Made Me Love You? Can you do that for me?
yeah, sure.
All right, let's hear Shannon Rae singing You Made Me Love You.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You made me want you, and all the time you knew it. I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes. Sometimes you made me glad. But there were times, dear, you made me feel so bad. You made me sigh for I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you. I want some loving, that's true. Yes, I do, indeed I do. You know I do. Give me, give me, give me what I cry for. You know you got the brand of kisses that I die for. You know you made me love you. You made me sigh for I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you. I want some loving, that's true. Yes, I do, indeed I do. You know I do. Give me, give me, give me what I cry for. You know you got the brand of kisses that I die for. You know you made me love you.
Shannon, that was beautiful.
Thank
really
you.
Great.
That was fun.
I can understand why the seniors love you. Now, you have a project that you're doing now with some other musicians. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I have a Carpenters tribute band, so it's a little trio that I have, and we do all Carpenters music. Karen Carpenter, Richard Carpenter from the 70s, and it's an hour show, and it's all of their hits.
And this is a particular love of yours? You love the Carpenters
I
music?
do. I always love the Carpenters, and I'm trying to keep the music alive, and it's just a fun project, and we do performances at libraries, and we did a couple at some art galleries, and we have a little theater that we're going to be performing at.
All right, why don't we do a tune from that?
Sure.
All right, here's Shannon Rae singing Close to You.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled blue dust in your hair with golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled blue dust in your hair with golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Close to you.
Shannon, that was fantastic. Thank you,
Thanks.
thank you, thank you.
Thank
Always one of my favorite songs. That's a
I
great
know.
song.
It's a good one.
Now, what you're, as a musician, I'm sure you've had hundreds of gigs. Do you have any highlights that you'd like to talk about? Some of the best gigs you've ever had?
The ones that are most special to me are my seniors, the ones that live in nursing homes, to be specific, because they really don't have much to look forward to. They are sickly and uncomfortable and don't have a lot of family around, and they need music in their lives just to get them out of their heads for an hour and bring back memories. And you know, when I start, they all just light up. They light up with joy, and they're all singing and they're happy, and I love to provide that and share.
So your music goes beyond mere entertainment. It becomes a therapy and a blessing for these people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's
I
fantastic.
love to share my talent with them, and they appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful audience, those people.
yeah. So, do you do any Italian things in your repertoire?
I do a few Italian songs, yes. I'm starting to get more into it because I'm just feeling more and more connected as I get older to my heritage. And so that means singing Italian songs if I could. I'm working on it.
And it's funny because I've noticed that as people get older, they want to go back more to their roots.
Yes.
I don't know
feeling
why,
that way.
but many people do that, and it's not until a little bit later in life when you're a little bit more mature
Yeah.
that you have time to think about that.
You just, you understand what really matters. You know, things get so much more clear as you get older.
Yes, it's true. That's one of the blessings of getting
Yes, it is.
older. Well, let's hear some Italian music. So here's Shannon Rae singing a few Italian songs for us.
Great. Oh, Lottie. Oh, cantare. Oh, let's fly way up to the clouds. together provides. Volare, oh, oh, e cantare, oh, oh. No wonder my happy heart sings, your love has given me wings. Penso che un sogno così non lo reterrei mai più. Mi rivolgevo la mano alla faccia di blu, poi di improvviso venivo dal vento rapido. Io cominciavo a volare nel cielo infinito. Volare, oh, 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 e cantare, oh, oh, nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù, e volavo, volavo, felice più in alto del sole ancora più su. Quando pian piano spariva lontano laggiù, una musica dolce suonava soltanto per me. Volare, oh, 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 e cantare, oh, oh, oh. No wonder my happy heart sings, your love has given me wings. Nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù.
Grazie, grazie. Molto bene. You sing so beautifully. And I love your Italian. You speak Italian so well.
Grazie.
Okay. Do you do any Patsy Cline?
I sure do.
Okay, well, here's Shannon singing some Patsy Cline.
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you loved me as long as you wanted, and then someday you leave me for somebody more. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world would I do? I'm crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you.
Where would you like to see your career going in the future?
Really, just what I'm doing is what I love. I never dreamed of being famous, ever. It's not my personality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite shy, even though it sounds ridiculous because I'm a performer. But I just wanted to make my living with music, and that's what I'm doing.
That's wonderful.
That's it. You could make your living with music. You don't have to be famous to do that.
And that is something that's very hard to do in this day and age of recorded music and DJs. And you are one of the few people who's able to pull that off and do it well,
Thanks.
and do it profitably.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I know you're doing 30 gigs a month or
A
so.
lot of, sometimes a little too much. You could get, burned out.
Yeah.
But it's my own fault for booking them, but I don't know.
Now, Shannon, I know from knowing you for so long, I know you shared a very particular, touching story about your dad and your singing. Would you like to share that story with the
Yes,
audience?
and you were a big part of that.
Well, thank you.
Well, my father was dying in 2002, and I sang to him on his deathbed just to make it more peaceful for him, instead of, he's laying in the hospital and it's what he wanted, and I just kept singing and singing until he told me to stop, which he didn't.
Really?
So it was a long, long time, but I didn't care. I would have done it, for as long as he wanted. And I'm so happy that I did that for him. And then I told you about it, and then you wrote that gorgeous song
Oh, thank
called
you.
"Sing for Me," because you were moved by what I told you.
It's a beautiful story.
And the song you wrote was just amazing.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll play that on the outro, but you did a beautiful
Yeah.
job on it. And that's the kind of song to me that has so much heart, so much soul, so much truth in it. And it was a beautiful thing that you did with your dad.
Sure.
I felt that. I feel that you have such a great love for your family, and that came through to me. And you're so passionate about that came through. And of course, I'm sure your dad up in heaven is just so happy that you did that for him.
I hope so.
Well, Shannon, it has been wonderful talking with you and performing with you, and I hope that we get a chance to do it a lot more often. Thank you so much for being on the show, Shannon.
Thank you, Dave.
Lying on his dying bed, I can't forget what Daddy said. Sing for me, sweet